Might be a little wiggling today. I don't know. I decided I was going to use this one for the iPhone. And I've got a microphone over here on my shirt pocket, so hopefully it'll sound all right. We will figure it out. This might be a weird one today. So hi! Jamaican Me Crazy. Yeah, it's just the way it is. We're going to do this in our AeroPress today. I thought that would be nice. I like a good AeroPress. This is the one with coffee liqueur in it, which kind of is weird to me because, hey, coffee. Let's put coffee liqueur in coffee rather than like in a martini. But that's all right. Okay, so how we're going to do this? Okay, so I'm going to do this in the inverted method, which means this is going to stay off. I am going to wet it though, so that it stays there. And then we're going to take this, we're going to insert it this way, and when we put the coffee in, we're going to do it all from here. Now, that should stop everything, water, hot water, coffee, the whole 9 yards from coming out, because it is a rubber stopper, so that's the hope anyway. So we're going to take the Jamaican Me Crazy, and I don't know. Matt found, oh, it smells so nice. He found a way for me to transfer files off of the iPhone so much quicker and faster. So I thought I would give that a try this week. This doesn't need nearly as much coffee, so we'll go with around 21 grams of coffee today. Yes, it's a much easier way because the process was attach the iPhone to a hard drive using an interesting device that splits off as a Y. One plugs into the phone, but then it's funny because the hard drive itself takes two plugs, one plug for data transfer and the other one for power. So, because it's an external hard drive, it's about this big. I was very lucky to have gotten it when I did back a long time ago. I was using it as a, what was it? It was for, I think it was for the PlayStation 4. I was using it to back up games. So I've been using it now to transfer files, and then you transfer the file and then you plug it into the hard drive on your computer via USB and you pull them off of the hard drive that way. It was not difficult. It was just tedious. So the easiest thing now, and I love it, is that it uses the Wi-Fi and it pulls it directly onto the hard drive using a program that's on this phone and on my computer. It just pulls it right off, and it's great. I love it. The file movement is faster because the hard drive's a little older, so it's a little slower to do anything with. I mean, it worked perfectly, but it was a little slower. So the movement for files is faster, and of course I can start editing much quicker, and it all goes into a place where I want it to. So it turns out that it works really well. So, and he found that for me, just like he's always finding stuff for me to use to make everything better. So, I mean, Matt is the best. He's always watching, he's always looking, he's always searching, he's always on his phone, which sometimes does bother me because it's like the world around him is happening and it's like, you know, he's in his phone. So, which, you know, I mean, that's the reason we went to Colombia. It's the reason we went to Puerto Rico. It's the reason I've got this really cool way to move stuff from the phone to my hard drive directly to the computer. So, you know, I'm not going to complain too much, but he could pick his head up out of the phone just a little bit more often. But, you know, it's his job. Yesterday they had a really scary scare. That was a false alarm, so thank goodness. But he said that the entire team was incredibly frightened. And he had so much adrenaline. He's like, after all that adrenaline, I got to go downstairs and I got to go work out now while I've got this adrenaline going so I can get it was like 9 o'clock at night. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, so apparently it was very scary what happened. So that's aggravating. But it was a false alarm. It did not happen. It was a false trigger for whatever program they're using. So everything is fine. I'm sure they're going to talk about it today in their meetings. I know he left a little early. Maybe he was just still worried. I don't know. It's hard to do that kind of stuff from home, I think. But then again, everything he does at work is on the computer, so I don't know what the biggest difference is. It's not like anything they work with is directly on a server there. I think it's still all cloud-based. So maybe they have the proper tools. I know that they can think tank a lot better if they're all together, because on a Zoom, it's fine. But, I think when they're in a room together, I think that they work the best together. So, and he's got a great team that does a lot of wonderful work, and they all do a great job. And they're all really cool. I like them. Good people. So, that's not a measure of anything, but I will say I like them. They're cool. When we get to hang out, I have a great time. if that means anything to anyone besides me. Anyhow, so Jamaican Me Crazy. Delicious coffee, vanilla, caramel, and coffee liqueur. It's really hard to say liqueur. It's all right. New Transformers 1 movie's out. I really want to go see it. The reviews seem great, but it just seems like a really fun movie. I finished the Optimus Prime Lego I was doing. I'm editing it right now. That should be up in maybe next week. I don't know how many parts are going to be. There were 10 bags, so there might be 11 parts. I don't know, depending on how I want to break it down. I think 11 parts is pretty good, but since the first part is basically introduction and unboxing, and then we'll go into building and stuff like that. And I'll try to mark them better so that, even though chronologically you could kind of follow where I'm going, I'm bag number 1. With the TOS Enterprise, it was much more difficult because there were no bag number 1s. Everything was in a separate bag. Everything was in pieces everywhere. And that made for an incredible amount of frustration on my part. And for a lot of viewers' parts, because somebody did mention, hey, can you let us know what part you're on in the description? And I'm like, okay. And I did let people know in the description itself, but in the main part where the title of the video is, I added those to the title, and then I also added them to the picture that comes up when you click on a YouTube video, or when you find a YouTube video. There's a picture that comes up. Basically, usually a lot of people use those as like splash screens for clickbait. So generally it's something negative, but it's like, I'm just like putting parts of stuff on there. Okay, so this is dangerous. It doesn't, I guess it's weird to say that, but it is a dangerous thing because you are putting extremely hot water into a device in a way it wasn't meant to be put in. Because this is the inverted method for the AeroPress, which means this should be here and it should be over top of the mug. And so all of the hot water will go into the mug. This way's, it's difficult, I guess you could say. It's difficult. You don't want all of the hot water coming out and burning the hell out of you. You don't want that. You also don't want the hot water and coffee grounds spilling out all over the top of your countertop. That makes sense as well. So there's a lot of form factor here that is dangerous. You're working with boiling hot water. And, like I said, the device is not meant to be used in this fashion. However, I am using it in this fashion because there is an inverted method for this thing. Of course there is. It's a wonder there's not an inverted method for an espresso machine where you turn it on its side. Maybe there is. I don't know. All I know is this is a fascinating way to make this coffee. It makes it easier to brew because while you're trying to fiddle with it the normal way, coffee is still kind of coming out because, this is all basically it's gravity until you start applying pressure. So there's a point in the whole procedure where you're going to have to pull the plunger back a little bit to create suction to stop the coffee from flowing through the bottom here, because I mean it's just a hole and this is perforated, which means you're going to lose a little bit of coffee in the initial go. So this method allows a maximum amount of extraction for the coffee, and then you're pressing it through, which means you're squeezing the grinds a little bit, so you're getting more coffee and more flavor out of your coffee beans. So I'm going to apply this to the top, and there's grooves here, so it's not really a difficult step to stick this on here. I wet this down here so that it stays stuck, because it's just paper basically. So we're going to put this in the slot. We're going to twist it without moving the plunger. Here we go. All right. So when this hits, I don't know, we'll do about 3:30. We'll start thinking about it around 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and then probably do it at 4. But once that happens, we will take this and we will invert it. Yeah, I washed it, which, is a good thing. Oh, no. I think I may have just gotten water. Oh wait, no. You know what I did? There was enough pressure from that water to where it turned it off. Isn't that interesting? All right, we're going to go for 30 seconds. Yeah, there's enough water and pressure from that water to hit this little pressure sensitive space here where it's on and off, and it held it long enough for it to turn off. Isn't that funny? That's cool. All right, so we'll just clean the water off of that. Wait another 10 seconds, and we're going to do our best here. This is also incredibly hot, so you really have a hard time grabbing it from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. I'm going to flip it over here like this. And luckily, it slides right over top. And immediately, coffee is going to start to go, because there's nothing holding it back right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands at the top, and very, very, very little pressure is necessary in order to push the coffee out. You can go full bore. I don't think it really matters. It just seems more satisfying this way. It seems like you're doing something. What's nice about this cup is that the bottom just fits. So it's not a tight seal, but you do feel more confident in the movement. I'm going to press it down. There you go. See how it's got a little bit of grip there. And it's not a lot of coffee. But then again, the AeroPress doesn't do a lot of coffee. It just does a regular cups full of coffee. And this is larger than a regular cup. This is much larger than a regular cup. Somehow I got grounds on the outside here. So yeah, I mean, it is, and it's also a little bit more concentrated because of how the system was delivered. I mean, not only is it steeping, basically, it is passing through the bed of coffee once again to get where it needs to go. Turn that off. There you go. All right. There's not much going on today, really, which is good. It rained. It rained on Sunday, and then it rained last night. And the leaves have fallen all over the ground. I don't know if you can kind of see out there, but the leaves have started to fall. They started to turn. Usually they turn faster in the country because there's less pollution. The trees like to feed off the carbon dioxide. They tend to turn a little bit quicker out in the countryside. So I would assume the fall foliage tour this year, at the beginning of October, is going to be very very little foliage still on the trees, I would assume, because of the weather. The weather has definitely made it a bit more difficult for the trees to retain leaves because it's just been dry. It's been dry for almost like an entire month and a half. So, but, it's fine. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's really nice. The underlying Vanilla flavor is really good. The caramel makes it sweet, but that coffee liqueur adds an interesting bitterness, especially with the AeroPress method. The AeroPress method really concentrates the coffee flavors, and then doing it inverted, it makes it that much more concentrated. So maybe I'll add a little water. Why not add a little water? Add a little hot water here. There we go. I should have weighed that. You should probably have weighed it. It's okay. Now, hot AF. That does mellow it out quite a bit. Because strong coffee is just not, for lack of a better term, it's not my cup of tea. I do like a flavorful coffee. I don't really like it uber strong. It's why when I do the maca pot, I usually will add cream or add milk or add additional water to it in order to lighten it up quite a bit, because the maca pot is definitely, it's the strongest brewing method that I have in my house. And maybe someday I would love to have an espresso machine, but even the Breville's, and I say this after buying a huge studio model replica of the TMP Enterprise for $750, which, if I had more comic books to sell, or if I had if I had toys that I wanted to sell, probably wouldn't be that big of a problem. I could probably just sell that, go to Williams and Sonoma and buy the Breville that I've been looking for as a espresso machine. But it's fine. It's fine. The maca pot suits its purpose. Plus, it's fun to watch. It's such a fun thing to watch. This is good coffee. It is enjoyable to drink. It is enjoyable to make. And the inverted method is dangerous. You definitely want to make sure all of your seals are intact before you add water, or at least the one big seal that you have to worry about, and that you don't do too much movement. And and prior to doing anything, make sure that the cup that you're going to put it in will not only fit the coffee that you're plunging into it, but will fit the rim of your AeroPress, because that's got to slide right down in there. And that barely made it. So, and then, you've got this ring on the outside here that will fit over top of a normal cup. I mean, if we do this, you want the ring to fit over top of the cup like this. Some cups don't fit. There are many cups that I have that don't fit. I don't know if this fits. Does this fit? I don't think I've not used it on this yet. Okay, so it does fit on the Klingon Ractigino mug. Excellent. There are some where it doesn't fit, and it's not that some of them are too big. Some of them, the opening doesn't fit that part. So you always want to make sure, because if you're going to be doing the inverted method, you are going to be handling hot water, and that hot water is going to have to shuffle. I mean, you kind of saw what I had to do there. So it has to shuffle around. So anyway, thank you very much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully this audio turns out okay. I'm going to fiddle with it as much as I can. If it doesn't, I'll still upload it, but you'll know why the audio sucks. It's because I'm trying different things. I wanted to use this thing again because I wanted to use my iPhone, because thank you to my husband. He was kind enough to find a method for me to get this stuff off of this phone without attaching wires to everything and waiting sometimes a total of 45 minutes. Some of the things that I did for that Megablox Enterprise, it took a solid hour to pull the lengthy video files off of this phone using the hard drive, and then plugging the hard drive into the computer to transfer stuff off. Because Apple doesn't let you just do it. You have to find a workaround, because Apple just won't just work. And I'm pretty sure that at some point the program that Matt found will probably break, because Apple will find a way to break it, because they want you to use Apple everything. They want that. They want a universe where it's just Apple. So And it just makes everything frustrating because I love this phone. Hopefully someday I'll be able to upgrade to a 16. The audio on that's supposed to be pretty darn good. So I'm excited about that. But, until then, I want what I have to work properly. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.